Welcome back to a new video. So this is my session from Tuesday. I believe the next session I am going to not have any whatchamacallits videos and whatnot, and or not any commentary, I should say. But this was a session I was originally going to do snatch balances and push presses and stuff, but I decided to just do some light snatches, some power clean, and push press plus jerk. So similar to the complex I would have done from the blocks anyway. And then I was considering doing some front squats, but kind of similar to the pulls that I ended up doing. I decided to push them to the next day because I didn't really feel that great. They weren't irritating my hip, but it was like one of those things that it's better just to wait till tomorrow when I knew I was going to feel better for them and just push them on that day. So the doubles felt pretty good. I'm not really having a like hip issue per se. I'm just trying to make sure that it doesn't turn into one. But the left hip is a little bit sore, but it's not really limiting me in anything that I'm trying to do. But if it's feeling a little bit wonky or a little bit extra sore, I'm not going to push through it, especially when I can do pulls, and the pulls actually felt really good. So I didn't have any issues, sort of twinges or anything like that. That would be indicative of a bigger problem. I decided to use straps for the cleans as well to get some extra front rack mobility stretching in. Still don't ever recommend using straps for full cleans. There are some people that have really good mobility that can do it, but I'll leave it to those people. For 99% of people, it's not a good idea, but I will say for power cleans, I think it can be good for front rack mobility, particularly with a complex like this where I'm inherently not going to be going super heavy. I'm not doing a maximal power clean. So it can kind of allow you to work on technical things as far as turning your arms over faster, but also just stretching your front rack a little bit. So it can be useful in moderation, but if you go crazy with it or do like a full clean, you kind of do that at your own peril. Um, there's a video of someone breaking both of their arms doing a block clean as they fell backwards. They were doing doubles or reps with 150 kilos, very strong lifter, and they caught a clean and fell backwards, which is really not typical of a typical miss with cleans. But as they fell back, they were kind of stuck in that position and broke both their arms, which I wouldn't recommend breaking an arm. I've did that once when I was in fifth grade, and not a really fun thing. But if you don't fail cleans backwards for one, but if you do have straps on for cleans, you are a true psychopath, which some people can get away with it, and they are truly one of a kind. There's a 150 I did, and I was like, I could probably have gone up, but decided just to make sure I got the pulls in that I pushed off from the previous day. Did these kind of in clusters, so 5 sets of 3, all at 120, and just kind of treated them as cardio. It's my preferred way of getting any sort of cardiovascular training in, and certainly felt nice to do it. And it's not really difficult for me to do. Only thing I really need to get these done is straps. Another funny thing with this session, I just remember this. You can see my shoes. Those are the Reebok lifters, which I actually find really comfortable. I think they're heavier than other weightlifting shoes, but the material is actually pretty cheap, which I don't remember. I remember them being like a really nice material, but I don't know if it's degraded over the years or whatnot. But it certainly feels cheaper as far as the like, synthetic leather or whatever for it. But what I liked about them is probably because they're wider. I didn't really think about that when I was originally using them, but the just shoe itself was comfortable, and I kind of like the color scheme of it. But the main reason I actually stopped using it was one of the straps. The some part of the Velcro just stopped working, or the Velcro worked, but it was like some sort of the adhesive that was connected to it stopped working. So one of the pieces of Velcro that the top straps didn't stay on that well, and I think at some point I did get the Romaleos, but I had them on at the beginning of the session since I forgot my tiers inside, and I don't think I can wear them anymore. They're just too narrow, and it's interesting because I had wore them for years, and I kind of always they were too narrow even then. But now it's just like I'm barely getting through snatches, and I'm moving at a good pace, and I'm not doing a heavy session, and they're just hurting my feet. And with these, they were just the easiest pair that I had to throw on. I was just doing front squats and pulls, so I wasn't really worried about whatever shoes. And I could have put the Addy Stars on, but those are just kind of these are just easier to get on quicker, and it wasn't really that important of or critical what shoe I had on for the lifting session. But yeah, I might just have to retire the ROM twos and just wear them on a special occasion. It stinks because I still think it's a really good shoe. It's just too narrow for my foot, and I think for whatever reason, having the tiers on, it's made it so my foot maybe is a bit flatter or a bit wide. I don't even know because I felt like I wore the ROM for like most of training sessions, and I would get to like squats or whatever, then the shoe would start to become uncomfortable. But I think my foot has just gotten used to having more space, and so it doesn't like being cramped anymore. So unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm going to be able, or I'm going to have to just use the tiers for my various sessions. I'm still on my old pair of shoes. They did send me a replacement pair because one adhesive was wore off, but um, or a little bit on one of the sides, so like the plastic was splitting apart a little bit. But I've seen some people have some catastrophic issues with them in a short amount of time, and I haven't experienced that as much, thankfully. But I do have a pair that's well, I literally have not used them. They're sitting here next to me, and the only thing I've done is taken them out of the box and taken the shoe wrap out of the shoe. So I do have those at some point. So I can't really complain if they don't last super long, since they were really good about sending another pair of shoes. And that is not something that you want to experience in less than a year, a shoe kind of breaking down. But with the good customer service that Tier has with that, they got right on sending me a new pair with that. So I would still recommend the shoe, but probably the L1s, the kind of the regular shoes. I don't know those unless you really like the aesthetic of it and you have a little bit extra money to spend. But they're probably not going to last forever, and I probably will have to do repairs on them at some point. But if it gets through, 5 6 years, be most of my rest of my training lifting career. So I won't really have to worry about that too much. But I think as long as you're doing normal training, they will last a good amount of time. And I do have another fresh pair, like I said. So yeah, that was a training session. So nice little, some snatches, some clean jerks, and some pulls, and just a couple front squats. And the next session, like I said, won't have commentary, but it'll have some heavy front squats on it, and was a nice session as well. So that's it for this one. Oh yeah, I had snatch and clean jerk waves as well, so it was a pretty heavy session overall. But anywho, squats have been going well. That's kind of been the focus the last couple weeks, to push squats a little bit and not necessarily not do the weightlifting movements, of course, but